And Myanmar leader Min Aung Hlaing is on a diplomatic drive and touches down in Bangkok this morning for a two-day visit. Thailand is leading an international effort to normalize relations both bilaterally and through the 11-member ASEAN bloc. For more, we are joined by Dr. Hunter Marston, Director of the Southeast Asia Program at the Lowy Institute. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. So we've seen Min Aung Hlaing visit China, India, and Laos. How does this Thailand trip fit into his broader diplomatic strategy, and how successful has it been in reducing Myanmar's isolation?
Is one of Myanmar's most important partners, and particularly so to Min Aung Hlaing, who has promoted deep relations with the Thai military and has family relations with Thailand dating back decades. Min Aung Hlaing is looking for reintegration into ASEAN on his terms, and the government of Bangkok is an important partner in that regard.
So, Dr. Marston, how about Thailand? I mean, the country clearly has its own calculations, too. From Bangkok's perspective, what's the payoff in hosting Min Aung Hlaing?
Well, Myanmar's continued absence in high-level ASEAN summits remains a blemish to the rest of the bloc. And a real thorn in its side in its ability to collectively address regional security issues, many of which emanate from Myanmar's continued conflict. From Thailand's side, it's trying to do this in a way that both advances engagement with the Myanmar military government and also does so in a way that works with the rest of ASEAN and protects its norms of non-interference.
Dr. Marston, has ASEAN really recalibrated its Myanmar policy the way Thailand is trying to frame it right now? Or, to be a bit more cynical about it, does the timing of Aung San Suu Kyi's Red Cross meeting, for example, suggest it's all being stage managed by Myanmar and Min Aung Hlaing?
Well, I think you're very much right. There's a bit of a quid pro quo at play here. Aung San Suu Kyi's, the release of her photos meeting with the ICRC recently in neighbour shows that Min Aung Hlaing is willing to throw a bone to his diplomatic partners in Bangkok to show that if ASEAN re-normalizes ties with the government in neighbour, that the government in neighbour will show signals to concede in certain ways to ASEAN's preferred outcomes. So Aung San Suu Kyi remains under house arrest, and really there's no tangible concession here. I think it's more of a nod to the Prime Minister in Thailand and the government in Bangkok that Min Aung Hlaing is happy to give signs of potential willingness to open up and to do more in line with ASEAN's preferences ahead of the visit.
And Dr. Marston, reports say that border issues, labor and scam network cooperation is on the agenda. But I'm wondering what you would really be looking out for, watching for, to signal some real progress from an ASEAN perspective, and in particular the 5-point consensus. Do you think there's going to be any?
Well, Myanmar has made clear, the government of Min Aung Hlaing has made clear it no longer sees the 5-point consensus as a valid path forward. ASEAN insists that this is the proper diplomatic pathway towards reintegration into ASEAN. Beyond the 5-point consensus, I think the cyber scam industry will certainly feature prominently here, and I think that Prime Minister Anutin wants to get a clear read that Min Aung Hlaing has a grip on the situation, which has really affected much of the world, as well as particularly Southeast Asian citizens. And the illicit economies along the Thai-Myanmar border negatively impact Thai security and human security as well. The other main issue is the pollution downriver from gold mining along the rivers on the Thai-Myanmar border, which have had a really deleterious impact on the health and safety of Thai citizens. And beyond that, of course, there's a Thai-Myanmar business summit, so both leaders are keen to promote closer economic engagement.
So if the junta continues to reject this 5-point consensus, is there any room for ASEAN flexibility on this? And if there's no meaningful concession from Min going forward, what's the bloc's next move?
It's very unclear. The special envoy and foreign minister of the Philippines, Teresa Lazaro, insists that it's a long way off before Myanmar is welcomed back into the bloc. At this point, the ASEAN approach has been to essentially broker talks with multiple stakeholders, including the resistance, members of ethnic armed groups, and the national unity government. And so far, that has not led to direct political negotiations between the armed resistance actors and the military in Myanmar, which would ultimately be a sign that there might be a political solution to this crisis within reach. Now, it's been 5 years, and multiple ASEAN chairs have tried this approach. Nothing has borne fruit yet. So it's clear that the ASEAN five-point consensus has lost the ability to enforce the desired outcomes, and therefore parties like Thailand are trying new approaches.
Yeah, beyond the diplomacy, the real question is whether any of this changes life on the ground. I mean, could engagement ultimately do more to improve the situation? Like you said, years of isolation and pressure didn't seem to have worked.
That's right. I think what we do want to look out for is whether any tangible good comes from this meeting, such as expanded humanitarian access for international NGOs within Myanmar. Because as you mentioned, life on the ground remains incredibly precarious. Myanmar's poverty, the share of those living in poverty is now essentially half the country, and the country has been set back about a decade in terms of economic growth. So the country is desperate for a solution to the crisis here. But politically and on the battlefield, much of the country seems eager to move on and would like an end to the war. The resistance has made considerable progress over recent years, but in the recent months has certainly lost some territory it holds. And therefore, I think everyone is really looking for an end to fighting, and especially an end to the aerial bombardment of civilians in the country.
Dr. Marston, you were alluding to, I suppose, some differences within ASEAN itself as well when it comes to dealing with Myanmar. The Philippines is actually the chair of the bloc right now. I'm wondering if there's a story into, why is it that Thailand is leading this particular approach towards Myanmar and not the Philippines? And, if this is also raising tensions between the bloc and between these two countries.
I think it is raising tension. If you look at the recent foreign ministers meeting in Manila just a couple of weeks ago, there's a clear divide between the position of the Philippines as chair, which says that the ASEAN five-point consensus will remain the surest path forward for a diplomatic solution to the crisis, and Teresa Lazaro, the foreign minister's statement that reintegration of Myanmar into ASEAN remains a long way off. Contrast that with Thailand's approach of direct engagement following on Min Aung Hlaing's visit to Laos a couple of months ago, and you see a discrepancy between different countries within ASEAN. As I said, this is a major thorn and a blemish on ASEAN's preferred unity and consensus-based operating. As long as Myanmar remains absent at the table, the ASEAN has been unable to collectively address its regional security issues.
All right, Dr. Marston, we have to leave it here. Thank you so much. Good to see you on the show this morning. Dr. Marston is Director of the Southeast Asia Program at the Lowy Institute.